Our Christmas episode is coming up, and we are giving you the opportunity to decide who you'd like to have on the show. So please write in the comments and in the live chat who you'd like to see on. It's one choice per viewer, and try and keep it realistic, and preferably someone who's already been on the show this year.
True or false? True or false? Over to you, Davie, first. This week it was announced that Brexit had caused 6 to 8% damage in GDP.
Not true.
True. Shocked?
No, I've been paying attention.
Madge?
Yeah, I'll go true.
It is true. Well done, both of you. Question number 2, Madge. This week, Twitter announced that it was going to disclose extra details about their account. So you can click on it, you can find out where it was set up, etc. Was true or false? Ivanka News, with over 1 million people, was originally set up in Nigeria.
I'll go true. This thing has spawned one of my favourite memes, which is, General, you are browner than I thought, because it's all the dudes in India pretending to be white. It's so funny. It makes me laugh every time I see it. Go true, probably, given the state of Twitter at the moment.
Davey?
Also true.
It is true. Ivanka News,
Yeah.
with 1 million supporters, was set up in Nigeria. True or false, Davey? MAGA Nation X, with over 400,000, was set up in Russia.
Also true.
Madge?
I'll go false to be different.
It is false. It was just set up in Eastern Europe. We have no specific location. But I love how you're like, yeah, Russia.
That one sounded like bait. It sounded a little bit bait, that one, I'll be honest.
Madge. True or false? True or false? Thomas Crooks, the Trump shooter, actually announced that he would defend Trump patriotism in 2019. True or false?
True.
Davey?
True.
Yes, he was a full-blown MAGA supporter, and if you read through a lot of the stuff that the FBI said doesn't exist, you'll discover him making a large number of death threats to foreigners, Mexicans, brown people, anyone he deems inferior, until lockdown, where he goes completely nuts and switches to wanting to take out Trump. It's almost like a reverse Elon Musk. Went from the left to the right. Shall we get on with the show? Welcome everyone to the Sunday Roast. We have a regular back. Davey, how are you doing?
I am okay, just clinging on to sanity in the ever-increasing times of madness which we find ourselves in, but, you know, managing.
Surviving. Madge, how are you doing this week?
Yeah, I have no idea, because Rachel Reeves says the budget is very confusing.
Why?
Because it's just a load of different taxes and stuff, and I'm just like, what are you doing?
Do you think the budget was complete collapse, useless nonsense?
No, it was like, okay.
Rather than just go for income tax or just a big tax on the wealthy?
They were very clear that they would not do that. So, I mean, there's like a fake mansion. There's a somewhat of a mansion tax, you could argue. There's they ended the two-child benefit cap finally, which I hope they would do last year. So at least they've done it this year. Which I don't know. I don't know how much credit you get for doing the bare minimum that we expect of people. Do you get a prize for not littering? I don't know. So I'm not super impressed. To be honest. Congratulations on getting through the budget, Rachel, but I'm not impressed by your performance, to be honest. The OBR shit was wild. The fact they leaked the budget was wow, that was someone needs to get fired over that. That was nuts.
You not reckon that was deliberate?
No, I don't think it was deliberate, to be honest with you. Like, the only way it'd be deliberate is if she was really desperate to check market reaction and then, gauge it, but it's too late at that point. It would look so much worse if she was like, well, that's not the budget. And you're like, what's going on here? So it looked very cowardly.
That sounds so cynical, Madge. so cynical.
You would have to be very bright, and Rachel Reeves and Morgan McSweeney and those guys are not. We're not dealing with master tacticians here. So I'm not convinced. But what did you make of it, Alex?
I mean, it raises 22 billion. It hit a couple of industries that I'm not exactly fans of and think we should be dealing with to alleviate other problems. Like, I'm not a fan of the gambling industry in this country. Happily say that. And it's always in poor neighborhoods. It's always trying to get people in. It's pretty exploitative. The advertising's crazy. And in a lot of other countries, they ban it because gambling is not in your favor. It's just not. It's the odds are in their favor all of the time. I mean, there are the odd exceptions and blips where crazy stuff happens, like Leicester winning the Premier League, and suddenly, a 500 to 1 odd, and the betting companies having to pay it out. But I'm not a particular fan, to be fair. Davey, did anything grab your eye from that budget? Did anything make you go, yes?
No, not like, I mean, yeah, the end of the two-child cap, like that's been crazy for a long time, and I think the discussions that I've had around it have driven me absolutely insane because there's so many people in this country who want poor children to suffer for the choices of their parents, and it's been mental. So when it comes to that, yes, but like as Madge said, it's so late, They literally, like when they took over and they took the whip off those 5 MPs, the thing that really bothered me was they're not saying like do this now or else. They're saying this needs to be done as soon as possible. And it would have been such a good move for them to be like, this is clumsily worded, guys, but this is a good idea. We should definitely remove this cap as soon as possible. But instead, they spent nearly 18 months setting up an investigative panel to find out what were the mysterious causes of child poverty in the UK, only to find out, shock horror, that if you don't give money to people who are raising children when they don't have much money, oh my God, those children grow up in poverty. It's like the stupidest thing. And the way that they've done it, it just came across as such a kind of weak positioning of like, oh, well, I guess we'll do this thing. And then for Reeves to try and swing it as like, well, I personally decided to turn the teacher. Like, you were bullied. You were bullied, Rachel.
She's the Iron Chancellor. You can't bully that. You can't bully the Iron Chancellor. She would never cry in Parliament, for example, at the thought of maybe losing her job. Or claim people are mansplaining the budget to her, despite the fact she's doing a bad job. Never. That's what you do when you're the Iron Chancellor.
I don't know. I mean, the crying I'm less concerned about. The budget idea and ideology behind it, and the fact that they're ignoring a load of stuff like Brexit. They're just totally ignoring it. It's caused huge damage. I read off some stats. How much do you think investment's down? Foreign direct investment into the UK is down by?
I know it's a lot.
It's a significant number.
Give me a percentage. That's
15, 20?
15, 20, Davey?
I'd say 10, 15, yeah.
You're both about right. It's 12 to 18% foreign direct investment drop. That's over 100 billion in investment.
Yeah.
Employment numbers. We'll talk about this off air with the jobs and the jobs report not being released. Employment is down by how much as a percentage, do you think?
Are you talking about unemployment, or are you talking about like the amount of people in jobs, or
amount of jobs that have disappeared as a result?
I'm sure it's like, it must be, no, it couldn't be hundreds.
Like missed job opportunities, I think is a better way to
say it. Tens of thousands, maybe?
But as a percentage.
As a percentage, oh.
I'll only give like 8%, isn't it?
Go 10. 10?
Davey?
I said 8 because I think I remember reading that somewhere.
3 to 4%.
Okay.
And then productivity. How much do you think it's down by as a percentage?
Oh, they changed that as well. They downgraded the productivity again, didn't they? Say 5? Sort of 5, maybe.
Davey?
I thought that was like 15, but that was taking into account the fact that we're a services country. So I thought that was about specific things. I don't know generally.
It's about 3 to 4%. Like the damage is huge.
Yeah.
I think even the chief economist, one of the chief Brexit economists who were leading the charge this week said it's just a failure.
Minford. It couldn't be Minford.
No, it was someone else.
Oh, if only it was Minford.
I'll post the name up on the screen because I've got the.
Yeah.
It's only glanced at it this morning.
I mean, they said they'd make Brexit work though, so I guess it must be working. You know,
That's kind of the problem though as well. That like it's like you know, in Lord of the Rings, or what about Second Breakfast? It's like that because Farage is back in the political mix
yeah.
again. It's like, oh, this isn't real Brexit. We'll just wait until real Brexit happens. And I'm like, this is it. Like, this is everything that is being predicted has happened. This is what was always going to happen. So for you to pretend that it's this like, oh, it's Islamists and the left uniting to get woke lefty lawyers to bring. I'm like, no, guys, this is literally what they said would happen. You got exactly what you voted for, and you're booing about it. You did this.
Boris Johnson, in charge of the Brexit campaign, got it over the edge, even according to Nigel Farage, was deep down really a Remainer who didn't really believe in Brexit. And you're like, what are you talking about? It's up there with like cult behavior or tribalism. It's pure tribalism.
Stab in the back theory.
Stab in the back theory, yeah. Like that's that Nazi theory that was produced in order to justify why the Germans lost World War One. It was secretly the stab in the back from the politicians and the Jewish communities and the immigrants. They were the ones that brought down the German war machine. Not that they were outnumbered by America, UK, France, and they had tanks. Nothing to do with that. And I don't see what the difference is here. How do you deal with people when they go, I get this a lot on social media, Nigel will fix it. Like, how do you deal with that when that comment, have you had that comment thrown at you?
Yes.
How do you deal with it? Like, what goes through your head? Because I can never be bothered to respond to them because I think they're like based in like Nigeria or Eastern Europe or China or something.
The problem with the entire conversation is disingenuous. Like Nigel Farage is so transparent about what he is and who he is. He has stood there and lied and proved that he's an idiot over and over again. For fun, sometimes I watch that clip of him being destroyed by the newscaster, where she plays the clip of him saying "up the Ra."
I think people will be entertained, Nigel, to hear you
and that
talking
may be too
about
inconvenient
this.
for all of you in Dublin. Oh, I'm sure. Yes, of course.
I know that you apologised for the birthday greeting which you delivered in the last couple of days, but I want people to see just how much you know about the history and culture on this island.
Now, it's a bit early in the day, so all I've got actually is coffee, but I hope you enjoy a few pints with the lads tonight. Up the Ra.
Up the Ra, Nigel. I mean, I know that you said sorry. I know you get 87 quid. It's entirely within your rights to do that. But come on, don't try and lecture the Irish people about the culture and history and precarious nature of peace on this island. You haven't got a clue.
And it's like, that proves that he's ignorant of the troubles and all of that. It proves that he doesn't understand the Good Friday Agreement, which is intrinsically linked to like all of the stuff that they did to make the Brexit agreement go through. Then there's the fact that Brexit happened. He said it would be quick. He said it would be easy. He said it would make the country run better. It's the exact opposite. Then there was Liz Truss's budget, the worst budget in ever. And he was like, oh, finally, a good Conservative budget. And everything went tits up. And people still look at him and go, oh, Nigel will sort it out. And it's like, listen, if you genuinely believe that, there is a deficiency within you that can only be cured by leeches and prayer. Like, I can't help you figure this out, you know?
You know what? It's funny you say that. I was doing some research the other day. Do you know what I think is in Leviticus? Do you know how the cure for blindness is in Leviticus? Do you know what it is? Just because
it's not leeches. Is it leeches?
Not leeches. It's mud and spit.
Oh yeah, that's the one where Jesus puts he puts the mud on the blind guy. Yeah,
and that'll fix everything. That's the cure for blindness. If we're gonna go down that route, it's absolutely mad. I don't. It's like they're doing backflips. I think, like you've mentioned Northern Ireland. When they're saying stuff like that to me, I'm just thinking, do they want a hard border in Northern Ireland? Or are they the chances of just go, well, we're not going to put a hard border up, so it'll just be down to the Irish government and the EU to put a hard border up. And they're going, well, we're going to have to because you've diverged and we don't want your crap coming into the EU. That's the whole point. And you're going, do they want a hard border on Gibraltar? How are you going to have a hard border in the middle of the channel?
The
How are you going to do that? Are you going to put warships out there and just start shooting them in French waters just as they come over? Or do you wait for them to come over into the UK waters and start shooting? What is it that they want? I don't get it. And I can't get any of them. I have responded on the odd occasions. I can't get any of them to explain to me what it is that they think will be better under Nigel. Like, all I see is tax cuts and less services. That's his whole policy stick.
No, you're missing one
on.
really important policy: immigration.
Which
they want lower. They want zero.
He released a weird little letter to this week, and it basically said, "Yeah, 250,000 people in the UK are leaving a year." And I'm going, "Yeah, and the rest? It's about 500,000." But you want to stop people coming in? I mean, the next thing I'm expecting him to do, he might start putting limitations on us being able to leave the country.
Yeah, I mean, from what I've seen, they want something called remigration. So they want to get rid of people that are foreign that live here. And there was like some stink about Nusrat Ghani, I think her name is, the Conservative MP deputy speaker, saying, "Oh, she shouldn't be there," and all of this stuff. And I'm just like, yeah, I think a lot of the people, not a lot actually, some of the people back in Farage are just deeply racist. Like, you'll never get through to them how much damage anything's done. It's deeply racist, not worth the effort, to be honest.
I guess it's that question of how do you deprogram someone from a cult or tribalism?
Well, this is this is a question I've tried to answer a lot, because that's absolutely a thing that's possible. But there's two problems. Number one, partial de-radicalization is the biggest issue with trying to de-radicalize people, because you can get them out of certain mindsets like racism, but that pervasive mindset of us against them still exists, and it sometimes manifests worse in other areas. But also, how do you de-radicalize people when they're still being exposed to the stuff that's radicalizing them every day? Every morning, these people wake up, they flick on GB News, they've got Alexa reading them the Daily Mail. How the hell are you supposed to cut through that? Because you can have a good conversation with someone where you think that you're making progress, and then they just go and immerse themselves in the pool of garbage again.
I'm going to plug my book. I've written an entire section on this in my book about experiments that they've done in the past where they've put people into tribal groupings to see how they react. And even if it's to a detriment to themselves, they will still act immediately within the tribal setting towards the tribe over anyone else. Because there's some evidence to show that parts of the brain shut down when it comes to this. And we've sort of seen it a little bit in America, haven't we? Because the whole Epstein stuff seems to have really shaken MAGA. But there are still some who are just like, no, Trump's great. Doesn't matter what it says in the Epstein files. It's all a Democratic hoax. I mean, he even said that this week, I think. Again, all a Democratic hoax, the whole Epstein thing. Like, you've literally gaslit people. There is a ton of evidence to show that you've been saying you're going to release these files. You've been saying that you're not in them, and now you're saying it's a hoax, so that's why I'm in them. And you're going, I don't understand this level of tribalism and how it works, but it seems like genuinely, from some of the scientific research I found, parts of the brain shut down when it comes to attitudes towards your tribe. So making negative insinuations about them, you just part of the brain shuts off. And I don't know how you deal with that other than to repeat stuff. Or maybe Farage and his racism this week.
Well, the problem with that is, I think that there's a lot of naivety in people who are being like, "Oh, well, see, finally there's proof." Because I think there's a neat divide in the camp between there's people who didn't know and will adjust, and there's people that did know, and that is why they like him. They like Nigel Farage because he says these things, because he thinks these things. And it's like we live in this really weird time where Nigel Farage stands there and goes, "I'm not a racist man. I just want things to be fairer." And it's like, I know you're lying, and it's not going to work on me. They know you're lying, and that you think exactly what they think. Last week, when that reform guy got sacked because the group chat he was in got leaked, where they were saying we need a pogrom on Muslims, like, we know you think these things. Yeah. There was
Can you explain that to the audience as well, what that was?
Yeah, what was his name? There was a reform councillor last week who got sacked because he was in a WhatsApp group, and he was saying things like, "Oh, we're much more hardline on immigration and like basically people of colour than you think. We just have to keep it really quiet until we win an election." And then people in the group with this guy were saying things like Keir Starmer needs a bullet in the face, and we need, I can't remember, it's like we need a genocide of Muslims and stuff like that. And this was this guy in this group saying these things who was like a darling of reform. But this is really the central point. It's like we keep like exposing Nigel Farage's racism and expecting people to be like, oh well, now I know this. And it's like, that's why some of them like him. A disturbing proportion of them know full well that he's a racist piece of shit, but they're not going to do anything about it, no matter how many times you expose it, because that is what draws them in to support reform. The fact that they know that that's what's being said and done behind the scenes.
Yeah, they're not saying what is the old expression, the quiet part out loud? Telling everyone to keep that quiet in the back scenes. What did you think of the apology, Madge?
I think the thing is, like, he said it when he was a teenager, you can kind of get away with it, but I think the point is, like, with these people, like, their supporters know that they have to play a face. It's like when Starmer was talking about how he needs to make Brexit work, and then everyone's like, oh yeah, but he's actually really pro EU, so it's going to be fine. And it wasn't fine. So like the racists will never fully get what they want, but I think he'll give them enough at the beginning anyways. But he has to play like the media game, which is he can't be seen as racist because they're trying to win over minority voters. It's one of the things that helped them win Brexit was minority votes. It was like the Black and Asian community saying, well, how come it takes, we have to get a visa to get someone in from like where my family from Bangladesh, but someone from like Poland or wherever, France can come here without a visa. And the Brexiteers are talking about making a fairer system. Was that cool? It fucks over everyone now, pretty much. As long as you're like not in a specific group of countries, it fucks over everyone.
See, I hear that and I go, does that mean that Wales should have the same sort of system as a visa system as well for the English coming in and the Scottish coming in?
I bet they'd want it at this point.
No, it's too late for that.
I bet the Welsh are like, build the wall higher.
Build the wall, rebuild the dike.
Yeah. But yeah, so with that stuff, it's hard to judge people on what they said when they were a teenager, to be honest. I mean, like people do change quite a lot. So yeah, did he say these things? I mean, he didn't. Maybe not, but
he got caught on LBC pushing forward the idea that
there are about 6 million Jewish people living in America, so as a percentage it's quite small, but in terms of influence, it's quite big. Well, in terms of money and influence, yeah, they are a very powerful lobby, and Ahmed, actually, America's interfered in elections all over the world for decades. There's a slight sort of degree of hypocrisy about all of this. Ahmed, new caller from Leighton, I thank you. He makes the point that there are other very powerful foreign lobbies in the United States of America, and the Jewish lobby, with its links with the Israeli government, is one of those strong voices.
He's anti-Semitic. That doesn't surprise me, but he did have that racist post as well. The what's it called? What's it during Brexit? The "We're full" or something like that. Some sort of invasion kind of poster. It wouldn't surprise me if he is racist, but the thing is, you don't have to go back like 40 odd years of him in private school to see that he's racist. You can see it over the last 10 years when he said, I wouldn't want to live next to a Bulgarian person or some shit like that. And you're like, yeah, that's racist.
I say Romanian and you start talking about people traffickers. Why didn't you say people are perfectly entitled to feel uncomfortable about living next door to people traffickers, wherever they're from? Why do you say Romanians?
I didn't say Romanians. I was asked a question. If a group of Romanian men moved in next to you, would you be concerned? And if you lived in London, I think you would be.
So, yeah, you don't have to go back and be like, see, he did Nazi songs when he was a teenager. No, it's 10 years ago. If the media actually did their job, people would know these things. They didn't. He said it on TV, bro. He said it live in a debate with Nick Clegg.
Which point?
He didn't want to live next to Bulgarians.
I thought it was Romanians, but
he didn't care. He was talking about how all of Britain will be full of Romanians because of freedom of movement. It's not happened.
So what's the issue with Romanians?
Yeah, and where they it doesn't make sense. People aren't going to just move and just be homeless here. It's just dumb. But this is the argument he made, and he won. He won that debate against Nick Clegg.
It's that continual argument of cultural superiority.
Yeah.
But it's really weird because it's almost like they're saying all white people are better than anyone from any other culture. And you're going, better than Michael Jordan? All white people are better than Michael Jordan. All people are better than Neil Tyson deGrasse. They're all smarter than him. They're all better. Are they all better than Pele? Are all white? Is that what you're saying? Is that
Pele's overrated? But it's facts. It's facts. It's facts.
Controversial, right?
Facts. But no, a point being is like, there was the stereotype in France of, the black player being the big, tough, fast guy, and the white player being the, clever finesse guy. And it's like, what? Like Thierry Henry doesn't exist then. So yeah, there are like, they tried to make a deal with to get what's called au pairs, the people who look after kids
Yeah.
for rich kids. And they just wanted them from France and I think Germany. For a specific reason because they didn't want ones from other parts of Europe coming over. So that and that was under the Conservatives. That wasn't under that wasn't like a reform type thing or a Farage type thing. So him being racist doesn't surprise me, but you don't have to go that far back. It's just funny the media just kind of caught onto this thing now when they're going back and looking at this stuff. It's like, mate, if you did your job, if you actually did research, you would know the racist stuff he said not so long ago, and you could say, well, you're like in your 50s. If you said racist stuff in your 50s, you're still probably racist in your 60s. It's not that big a leap.
Well, it's interesting that you were saying, you sort of get the idea that kids say stupid stuff when they're, he was 15 at the time. So, he's heading towards adulthood more than he is childhood. And then you're going, the stuff he was saying was absolutely horrific.
Racially abused fellow pupils when you were at school?
No, this is 49 years ago, by the way. 49 years ago. Have I ever tried to take it out on any individual on the basis of where they're from? No.
At school, categorically on the record, you did not racially abuse fellow pupils?
I would never, ever do it in a hurtful or insulting way.
That's not quite the same as not doing it.
It's 49 years ago. It's 49 years ago.
What difference is it? What difference is the time?
Isn't it? Well, I just entered my teens. Can I remember everything that happened at school? No, I can't. Have I ever been part of an extremist organisation or engaged in direct, unpleasant personal abuse, genuine abuse, on that basis? No.
You're not quite... That's very, very caveated. You're not quite ruling this out. The question is, did you ever racially abuse fellow pupils in school?
No.
You've caveated
Not
it with a
intent.
hurtful way.
Not with intent.
What do you mean not with intent? I don't understand what you mean by not with intent. What does that mean?
You wouldn't do.
But what does that mean?
No.
No what?
No. I have never directly really tried to go and hurt anybody.
Most vivid memories of my school life is Farage repeatedly coming up to me and knowing that I was Jewish, saying Hitler was right and gas him, and that was frequently followed by us, kind of imitating the sound of escaping gas. As the grandchild of a couple who had escaped from Hitler and Nazi Germany, but whose families left behind had perished in the Holocaust, this was extremely wounding and upsetting.
Are they telling the truth, Mr.
Well,
Farage?
suddenly after 49 years, they seem to have perfect recollection. I would say to you, there is a strong political element to this.
Okay, again, a slightly different answer to the question. Are they telling the truth?
No, they're not telling the truth.
Are they telling the truth?
No, they're not telling the truth.
How do you feel watching that?
Really angry.
And then in that apology, there was two things. The ITV, Farage said something similar. Oh, it was when I was a kid. Kids do stupid shit. Like, it was 50 years ago. And the news reporter had said something that I thought was quite powerful. It's like, what's that to do with anything? Like, what's the relevance to it being 50 years ago? And Nigel went blank. He had no answer to that. Because I think that is a really important thing. But also, those are that's not... His whole defense was just having a bit of a laugh.
It's not really funny, though.
Anything by it, and you're just like, what? Like, he went nuts over being accused of being associated with the riots.
Yeah.
But going up to some Jewish kid and making a hissing noise, he's like, that's just a bit of a laugh. And I'm going, I think there's two things within that. I thought the ITV reporter made a good point when he was like, what's the time frame to do with anything?
Yeah, I think if he's directly bullying someone like that, that's clear intent. Like, yeah. So
the thing is,
he's
I
a
think
dickhead.
you're right. Yeah, but you're right as well, though. People can change from having these crappy mindsets. That's absolutely a thing that we always need to remember. Exactly when, in his very storied, very public career, has he ever shown any contrition and said, you know, I did these horrible things and it was really wrong and this is why you shouldn't do it and this is what changed me? He's always just done the same snake oil bullshit of like, I'm really here to talk about the salient issues. You want to assassinate my character. And I'm like, fuck off, Nigel. Sorry. If you, I
They're
tried
free
so
speech.
hard not to swear this time,
It's fine.
but like, it just bothers me so much because I do believe that people can change. You know, like I'm not like I was when I was a bit of an edgy teenager. I never had like a Nazi phase like a lot of people keep casually admitting to or anything like that. But like, I'm different, but I'm quite open. I'm like, I made some stupid mistakes and I said some stupid shit, and here's the things that I said, and here's why you shouldn't say them. Nigel Farage is still saying shit that makes people go, ooh, ooh what? What? Are you kidding? So, like, what exactly has changed?
But there are levels to it as well. Going up to a Jewish kid and making those comments, I mean, if I'd been his age, I would have kicked off. So I'm just going, like, that is just just at another level. I mean, as you said, you can say stupid shit, you can say flippant shit, but that sounds like full on bullying. And then he said Davie, what you were saying there, he pulled it. He said, I think this is a political thing. It's interesting about the timing, isn't it? And it's just like, no, you said some really fucked up shit that's straight out of the Nazi playbook and paranoia and conspiracies of the Nazis. And you don't seem to want to offer a direct apology. And you haven't even gone to the kid who ITV managed to get on and go, oh, this is Nigel's response. What do you think of it? And he's basically going, yeah, he's a lying scumbag. And he did say that to me. And Nigel's not offering an apology. He's not going, as you said, what's Reform's anti-racist policy? How are they going to stop racism?
Zia Yusuf is their anti-racist policy.
What's that?
Zia Yusuf is their anti-racist policy.
Oh, with Zia Yusuf, I still can't get it. So he's been attacked for being a Muslim. He's got Nigel. I mean, as I said, Nigel didn't just say it at school. He made anti-Semitic comments at LBC when he was on air. So you're going, it's not like this is. I'm actually quite surprised that no one's pulled him up on that on ITV or the BBC or.
Are you surprised the media are shit? You sound surprised.
Yeah.
Are you surprised?
Like, as conspiratorial as this sounds, the media is desperate for someone like Nigel Farage to win, because you can imagine how easy the news cycle would be. Oh, what's he said? All right, okay. Nigel Farage said that gay people deserve to be killed in a shocking. Right, okay, right. Well, I'll get paid £100,000 for my article and go back to sleep. Like, what? Where have I gone?
I think he has inferred.
He's frozen. Farage has frozen him.
Yeah, talk about Farage, you get cursed.
Yeah.
Fucking hell! It's the Russians. They don't like their man being attacked.
Then Nathan Gill's got him.
Nathan Gill's got him.
Gill's hacked in.
You've been gilled.
He's back.
And with my glorious return, I would like to affirm my support for Nigel Farage's reform.
Yeah. Did you see Zia Yusuf got grilled over what's his name, Nathan Gill as well? And he's like, yeah, I don't know the guy, because Stephen Flynn was trying to get him, and then he was like, oh, I wouldn't talk about corruption given you're in the SNP. I'm like, mate, you took money from a foreign your guy took money from a foreign government. And he goes, oh, is the reform leader in Wales? It's like, yeah, for 50 days. It's like, this is Nigel's guy. Like they've been around forever. In the UKIP days, they're around.
For Nathan Gill, our leader in Wales, an honest, decent, honourable man who's been loyal to me and the party at all times. Nathan, you've led UKIP Wales into this, and well done, you.
Oh,
There's
Alex is frozen now.
There's the guy as well. What's his name? The guy who runs the Centre for Migration Control. Like, the press keeps pulling this guy's figures out to talk about issues, and I'm like, so if you do some research, that's not actually a think tank; it's a one-man operation. And if you look, he was literally intrinsically linked with Nigel Farage's Brexit party. So maybe don't be like, well, this Centre for Migration Control's issued these figures. He's lying to you. The figures are being manipulated. It takes 5 minutes of research to figure that out.
Yeah, it does annoy me. They always put out the graphs that immigration's going up, and they talk about all the problems in the country. It's like, okay, it's better than them talking about 6-7, I guess, which Ridge was doing with Darren Jones, which is great, which is what you need the media to do, really. But honestly, the media suck, and it's just really bad. So it's not a surprise, really.
Do you think that's going to keep him in line for being the second biggest or the biggest party then, if the media don't step up?
Yeah. The only thing that's going to stop him is the council's doing badly. That's about it. That's the only thing that can do them. Like Kent Council's not doing great, or I live Northampton Council's not doing great. There are other councils. I think they have four. They're not doing good at all. So that's going to be a big hallmark. But it's up to Labour. Like they're like expecting the media to talk about the Russia stuff. It's like no, you have to do it now. You have to ask how come no one's who else? There's the whole point of the other people making the spaces. Who else has been offered Russian money and who took it?
It's funny you say that. I think Farage wrote on X that Reform was sending a lawyer down to support someone who'd been caught up in some sort of racism allegation. And I suddenly went, okay, so they can get you a lawyer and they can pull lawyers in to go and protect someone from racist allegations. And then they've got this group of auditors that they've been sending around the country to audit stuff and try and save money or figure out how to, spend better. But they can't find ex-police officers to investigate their party to make sure that there are no Russian interference, influence, money flowing into the party. They can't do that. And I think you're right.
Let's be honest as well. It would be a fix anyway, and the police officers they got would be sympathetic to them, and that's the whole thing. If it's that blatant, why can't they do it? We know that it's going to be a wash. Oh, we've investigated ourselves and found we're innocent. Like Madge said, the only thing that's going to bring them down is people being like, I want reform. I want reform. Reform will sort everything out. And then they get it and they're absolutely shit. And then they turn around and go, actually, we've done wrong. That is the only way that it's going to be handled because the media is too busy being like, Nigel Farage is racism, problematic or slightly charming. It's just like, that's the country we live in right now.
I was going to say, Brexit Party's Alex Phillips, a couple of years ago, it was 2019, talking about how the party received money via PayPal. I think it's like 5k per payment or something like that. So they don't have to declare it. So, you could easily make a load of PayPal accounts, give them 5k. It wouldn't take much.
I think that's why they reduced it to 50 quid.
Oh, okay. But yeah, it was 5k before. And, the question is who's PayPaling you 5k? What's going on there? Because again, it's not hard to like make loads of PayPal accounts and whatever, so it's a bit weird.
Ivanka News with 1 million people.
What someone was saying is apparently some of these guys who run these Twitter pages, they do it because the way X works is it's not enough money to live off if you're in the West, but if you're in like a developing country, you can actually make good money off the blue tick stuff, engagement farming. So yeah, I think that's one of the reasons they do it because it's easy bait because these like right wingers fall for it.
Ukraine. I know a couple of people have gone out there setting up podcasts, YouTube accounts. The rent for a pretty decent flat, admittedly, you might get blown up, but it's about 400 a month.
You might end up without a roof, good view of the sun if you're unlucky though.
So plenty of people doing that. So it's no brainer, isn't it? As long as you're getting paid in English, Western cash.
Yeah.
Do stuff like that, and then you've got a living, and you can just use chat. I think chatbots got called out as well recently. Someone who got caught out using chatbots recently to plug MAGA support. Like it's quite funny because of everything that Musk did this week to sort of make everything a little bit more transparent. Actually, completely backfired against MAGA.
It's like I said.
Yeah, what was your comment? You're like,
General, you're browner than I thought. Yeah, that was it. It's so good, man. It's a banger. But that's the point. You got all these people in India talking about how Muslims are shit, and just like, mate, they don't like you either. They don't.
No, and yet they're willing to take their money and do the grift and then cause their own problems.
It's easy money, man. It's easy money because the way Twitter pays people.
I wonder if there's also an element of knowing that they're winding up a nation to the point where because we we talked a little bit off air about Thomas Crooks and everything he was doing. He was saying all the way through that this is going to be a civil war, and it makes me wonder if those people are there just going, well, I'll just wind up one group of white people and this other group of white people, and we'll cause a race war inside the UK and bring it down. It's not exactly as if the UK's left a shining example and heritage and history across the world. Like a lot of people in Britain might think that the empire was great, but anyone who was living through that or had relatives living through that was like, no, this was absolutely horrific. It was an occupation and you stole a load of our shit. So it wouldn't surprise me if people are thinking, oh, it was like, do you remember when they were doing those calls from like India and other
scammers? Yeah,
the scammers. I'm
they still do it.
certain none of them gave a fuck because they were just like, well, you stole all our shit for over
It's
100
just
years.
it's just people that are poor that are happy to scam, rich people. That's it. Because all they do is scam like grandmas out of their pensions and stuff and their savings. And like from what I've seen, it's not that hard to even do it. Because for some reason, people are just willing to hand over whatever they have. It's crazy.
People are, yeah, unfortunately, way too trusting when it comes to this stuff. Especially, it seems. Actually, I mean, I've had people younger than me getting caught out on this. Like they think it's HMRC, and
HMRC don't call you. They'll send you letters. HMRC send you letters. They don't really. I don't think they've ever called you.
But people don't know that.
Yeah.
People aren't aware of doing their taxes. It's not exactly like you get an education at school.
You would think that's one of the things they would cover in school in like citizenship or something. HMRC won't call you. They'll send you a letter. And if you call them, you have to wait 2 hours on the phone because they don't have any staff. And the calls are always higher than expected. Always. At all times, it's always high. It doesn't matter if you call at 9 a.m., 2 p.m., or 4 p.m. The call average is always higher than expected. Please hold.
Do you want to know what makes me laugh a lot? In my old job, I had to call the UK border agency, like the UKVI it was at the time, quite a lot because I was dealing with visa sponsorships for doctors. And for some reason, they decided to put this call centre in Liverpool. And I love the Scouse accent. But for people who are from outside the UK, who are used to like, hi, we're British Airways and you're going to fly it. And then you get someone picking up and they're like, no, so you need the visa number from the back of your card. And I'm like, oh, for fun. This is not going to be easy for people.
We're called, so I was speaking to someone yesterday and they had English as a second language, right? And the guy she was talking to was Scottish, I think. And she was struggling, man. And I was like, I just took the phone off her and I was like, she was like, I'm sorry, his accent's really thick. And I'm like, I know. So yeah, I can't. That's one of the worst things you could do to someone.
What did you think of the Thomas Crooks? This is going to be horrible because we're going to have to confess something here, Davey. We both watched Tucker Carlson's documentary on Thomas Crooks, which seems to say the complete opposite as to what the FBI have been claiming in regards to Thomas Crooks apparently having no background on social media. He was a complete ghost, and it turns out there is a ton of stuff out there where he's going absolutely crazy and making death threats to the Democrats. And he's a full-blown Trump supporter, and he's making death threats to immigrants, to Mexicans, to people with different colored skin to his, like all the way up until 2019. What did you make of that documentary that Tucker Carlson did? Did it seem plausible? And
I mean, I take everything that he says with a pinch of salt because he is an idiot. Like, don't forget, he worked for Fox News, and when they were questioned about like the kind of content they put out, they were like, "We're not a real news organization. We're entertainment. It's people's fault if they take that seriously." Nevertheless, like, I just, I'm not privy to the same materials he is. So even if I watch a thing where he's trying to draw me to a conclusion, I'm always going to be skeptical. I mentioned it earlier, like partial de-radicalization it's frightening. If you've ever dealt with reading about people who are partially de-radicalized, if he was a stolid right-wing, like libertarian type who was like, oh no, COVID lockdowns and the Democrats are trying to blah, blah, blah. If someone de-radicalized him from that pattern of thought that the Democrats were the bad guys, but then he decided they were the good guys and the right wing were the bad guys, he's just as dangerous, Like it's not apolitical, obviously. That would be a naive take, but he could very well have just switched which guys were the bad guys in his head and decided they were the ones he was going to kill instead.
It didn't really make a difference. He just needed an enemy to attack them.
Yeah.
But that was another thing that was pretty wild. Like, he's been saying this stuff online that was just full on, I'm going to kill everyone. I want everyone dead. I'm going to use bullets and guns. I'll go down to Washington. I'll clear a path with my gun. And you're going, holy, if this is true, that's insane. Then you're going, why is the FBI not tracking this guy?
Even before Donald Trump won, yeah, I reported a guy to the FBI because I found he left a really unnerving comment on one of my friend's videos. and I went on his content, and it was all him training in the woods, making sure his knives were like, you know, they didn't shine and glint when he was crawling through the bush, what guns he was using, what ammo he was using. And like his comments were like, yeah, well, you know, when it really kicks off and I decide it's time, it's going to be time. And I'm like, I reported it to the FBI and I've literally never heard back.
Never heard of it. They never came back to you.
Nope.
That's mad. But it's not mad. Maxwell.
It's
like
it's
I just did a video this week on it. Maxwell. Maria Farmer, one of the victims of Epstein, reported it to the FBI. And then Maxwell called her and said, don't do that again. And by the way, it's really I know you go jogging along this route. That's really dangerous. I wouldn't go there anymore. And then she claimed every time she moved, Maxwell would call her up and go, we know where you are. Virginia Giuffre said the same. But you go, okay, maybe that's private investigators. The guy who ran the Ponzi scheme, I think it was Hoffman, said that he didn't rat out Epstein when they got done on this Ponzi scheme because Epstein had told Hoffman that he was working for the DOJ, the Department of Justice. This is 1987. So you've got this clear, clinical, repeating pattern of people going to the FBI, talking with the DOJ. I think the head of Palm Beach Police even said the FBI stonewalled them when they were doing the investigation into Epstein and what was going on in Florida. And he said, in my 30 years in the police force in Palm Beach, with working with the FBI, that's never happened before. And then you're telling me you've gone and reported to the FBI this, and then you've got Thomas Crook. And I don't want to go conspiratorial, but I'm going, that is pretty excessive pattern of behavior. But then I can also go and put my other hat on and go, they probably get a lot of calls. They get a lot of calls and threats and concerns, and they don't have the personnel to be able to go and do the research, or they just go, it doesn't seem that real, or it seems so exaggerated, I can't believe in it. You think that's far-fetched? Or because I mean, either way, if it's true, like any of those points, someone needs to be held accountable because they fucked up, but it doesn't seem like there's any sort of accountability system there.
It never does. Like 9/11 was the biggest example. They knew full well that something was going on, that there was big plans, that people had been training to use planes and things like that. And they failed, and look what happened. Like, and I'm not saying that negates the times that they've caught other big terror plots, but I think that, like, the problem is we always want to seek the one thing. What's the one reason this has happened? What's the one reason this has gone on? And I think that it's a mixture of things. I don't think that they really give a shit if you're white. I don't think that they give a shit if they can spin a narrative. And I think that ultimately it's about what resources have we got and where can we put them. I like, ultimately, when it comes to America in particular, it's the most ridiculous corporatized nation in the world. I think if it's not worth the bottom dollar, they're not going to do anything about it, regardless of what it is.
Did you, by any chance, watch that Nico Omalana video where he went undercover in the Tommy Robinson march?
Oh, I've seen bits. I haven't seen the full thing.
Have you seen that yet, Madge?
No, I don't think I have. I need to actually watch more of his stuff.
Because it was something you just said about, saying they'll arm themselves when the revolution happens and they'll be ready. There was someone on the Tommy Robinson march that pretty much said the same thing when asked. And of course, he thinks he's talking to a white bald guy, but it's actually Nico. And he's like, it's something to the effect, I'll play the clip, but it's like something to the effect of, when the time's right, I'll be ready. You're like, what in fuck?
Well, like, that's why when we talked about the press earlier, like, they have a huge role to play and responsibility for this stuff. There's people out there. There's people probably on my street, because there's a couple of flag shaggers who live across there who had a flag stuck on their house that's mysteriously come down, who, like, to them, they genuinely think they're in this, like, Cold War subterfuge, like, battle for Britain. And I'm like, mate, I don't give a shit. I don't care. I don't care about small boats and how many people come in and all that, right? That's not why things don't work. Things don't work because very rich people turn around to our governments and say, do this policy that we want, or we won't give you the money to run as a government. That's why things are shit. It's not complicated. And this like endless, lizard people, conspiratorial, maybe it's the Illuminati. No, it's the very public rich people like Elon Musk who are like, I might buy the US election. Actually, there isn't a conspiracy theory except for the very obvious factual thing that they're the people that are steering it from behind the scenes. And the best example is like as a small part of it, like just before the election, Joanne Rowling, one of the wealthiest people in the UK, was like, I don't really like Labour for not being transphobic enough. So I guess I might have to encourage people not to vote for them. Next thing you know, she calls a meeting with Keir Starmer, and then Keir Starmer comes out and goes, I don't like trans people. That's not good. Like, how much more obvious can it be? There's no subterfuge. It's right fucking there.
I wonder if that's part of the problem. Maybe if it was subterfuge, then people would be able to go, conspiracy, and research it and look it up. You're being awfully quiet there,
do. Yeah, sorry, I was just looking up that disguise Nico had during that thing, that when he went to that racist march, and I was like, that's fucking terrible. He looks terrifying. He's so funny, but yeah,
might be part of the reason why people opened up to him so much, because he looks fucking
scary looking dude, fam. But yeah. It's nuts though. I just saw like a couple of seconds of it, and it's just people spewing the most racist stuff on camera. I think they knew they were on camera as well. It must have been pretty obvious because he's not got a hidden one. But
no, there was he had a couple of camera crew. One of them almost got started on, but just randomly, like one of the guys just sort of kicked off. Obviously, he was the guy kicked off. It appeared to be that he was drunk at the time, and he just suddenly saw one of Nico's cameramen who was white and just went nuts.
Yeah,
like,
people are unhinged.
To fight with him for having a camera out.
Yeah, proper unhinged on it. Some of them, but again, it didn't surprise me. Like it was that time was pretty scary. Last year was pretty bad. This year, not great at all, to be honest with you. How Robertson keeps going on holidays despite having pending court cases is nuts. Like, the judges keep letting him go.
It's almost have you got a suspicion about that?
No, it's just not massively. It's just weird. Like anyone else, they'd be like under house arrest, but this guy, he's like, yeah, just go, mate. It's fine.
What's your thoughts on how much damage Starmer did with that absolutely atrocious speech? Because honestly, I nearly fell out of my chair on Island of Strangers Day. Like, I had friends that were texting me going, I daren't leave my house now because literally the Prime Minister, good team.
It didn't surprise me, given the fact that him and who was the guy who lost his seat in Leicester and he keeps speaking on TV, the Labour MP, I can't remember his name.
Oh, that fucking not.
Yeah, you know who I'm talking about. Yeah. No, don't say his name. We don't need to say his name. He wants attention. No. Not Luke Akers, but yeah, he actually won his seat. Yeah, that you know which novel I'm talking about, anyways. But yeah, he was talking about deporting like Bengali people. I'm like, mate, what the fuck do we do to you? So that was before the election. They talked about reducing immigration and how immigration is too high. Him saying Island of Strangers wasn't that big of a surprise. And, I've seen people try and defend it, saying, oh, that speech was really old. And, his speechwriter didn't know what he was referencing. It's like, mate, if your speechwriter doesn't know that shit, then it's time they're gone. It's time they're gone.
Again, no one gets fired for it.
Yeah.
We don't hear anyone getting fired for that. And then Starmer was claiming he hadn't read it beforehand. The speech was awful. It was like, fuck it. It was just fucking abysmal. Like,
what if they're right? What if they write something like Rachel Reeves is actually Rachel from accounts and she lied on her CV in the speech? Like, you obviously should read it beforehand. It's dumb.
You can read it as it's going along on the fucking teleprompter if you've got half a fucking brain, and you just go, I'm not going to read that out.
Yeah.
And
I hadn't heard that excuse, and can I just say that's literally stolen directly from Anchorman.
Well, that's going to do it for all of us here at Channel 4 News. You stay classy, San Diego. I'm Ron Burgundy.
Damn it! I'm Ron Burgundy. I'm Ron Burgundy.
It reminds me of when someone got Theresa May to say the word simples in the House of Commons. That was a bet. So, yeah. But I don't know, man. Like, he's not very good at politics. I'll tell you that for free. I've seen a lot of people, Starmer, I've seen a lot of people say, the budget's political. It's like, yes, it's fucking political. He's a politician. It's politics. Like, do you not know the name of the game? It's to stay in power. Like, that's it.
They won't do any of the things that'll fix the country. And I'll say the same about Farage. I mean, if you wanted just to go on basic policy of what Farage intends to do, tax cuts and immigration. I'm going, it doesn't fix anything.
How do you define
Literally
fix?
fixes nothing.
How do you define fix? If I was a person who said there are too many brown people and there are too many people receiving benefits, right? That, to a racist person who's an idiot, would fix the country. They might not want GDP to go up. They might not want, themselves to necessarily do better, but that would fix the country.
There's part of me, because it's such a cult, that goes, they won't get it until he's in. But then after watching Trump, he's in. The economy's tanking.
Yeah.
It's shit in so many respects. And they're still going, yeah, he's great.
Yeah, the ICE
You're
rates,
fucking
though, they got,
hell. You just went, well, I mean, it's not great to say, but, Trump is on his last probably decade, isn't he? Let's face it. So once he's gone, I'm hoping like that this calms down, but I don't think it will. I mean, I think there are undercurrents underneath it. I think Steve Bannon's underneath it. He's going to be around for a couple of decades. I'm fucking certain Putin's under it. I'm sure China's getting involved in trying to cause all these fucking culture wars.
These people will always be people who are angry, racist, or want to pull up the drawbridge behind them. I'll never go over the video of Mexican people saying, "Oh yeah, there's too many immigrants here." And I'm like, and the guy's like, "But you just got here." He's like, "Yeah," and you're like, "What? What are you saying? Like, are you stupid? Now, do you think the ICE guys aren't going to put you in the van because you look a certain way?"
The worst thing is, I'll bet a bottom dollar the majority of those people, if they were in a similar circumstance, would be doing the exact same thing.
Yeah.
But you can't get people, you cannot get people to see that. I did an experiment, this is many years ago now, but I did an experiment where I sat down with people who were homophobic and I said, I want you to imagine a world where you are barred from marriage and where people will judge you for your relationship and they say that you're mentally ill and all the things that you go through as a queer person, as a gay person. And then almost all of them laughed at the absurdity of such a ridiculous idea because the world is not like that and they literally cannot conceive of being in that position. That's the problem that we have with these people. They have empathy for things that they will go through, but they cannot conceive of what it is like to be in a brown body, to be queer, to be a woman. They cannot do it. And to me, the big problem we've got is these people have no empathy. They are dangerous to anyone that is not them. So what do the rest of us actually do? And then when you talk like that, when you say it, I'm just asking a question here, that validates that fear they have of this, it's a war for the soul of the nation and all of that. Because that was the other thing that was in that group chat that I mentioned that the Reform Council was in. There was a guy who was saying, and when it does kick off and we go to the streets, I'll be glad to take out the lefties just as much as the word that I'm not going to say because it was a slur. And that's the mindset that you're up against. And when you do try and have a practical conversation of these people are radicalized and what do? They take that as they want to kill us. I don't want to kill people that are radicalized. I want to help them. But how?
It's funny as well because Musk just did a meme this morning being like, they don't call you a Nazi because they think you're a Nazi. They call you a Nazi because they want to kill you. And this is where we've got this massive divide. Both sides have just decided that they're threatened by the other, and their existence is in play. And I don't to get that fixed is a massive task, and no one's talking. You were saying about getting stuff fixed. That needs to be fixed. You need to have a program of de-radicalizing people from being homophobic, transphobic, racist, sexist. But the problem is,
people will see that as indoctrination.
And it's been indoctrinated since the Spanish Inquisition. It seems that we've had racism. Nationalism really got amped up under Napoleon. So these crazy ideas have been around for 100, 200, 300, 400 years. And to get rid of that is a massive effort that the only way to do it is generational, in my opinion, effectively. You just do it through school. And even then, it wouldn't fully work because the parents would just say, oh, you're being indoctrinated, or push back or take the kids out of school, and then you wouldn't be able to change that. But it is a massive problem. And so when you were saying earlier, like, what are these things that need fixing? That is a problem. Like, hate crime's gone up 240% since Brexit. Who's talking about that? No one's even talking about that being an issue. These are all indoctrinated, and the only way to solve it is through education, which ironically actually seems to be going quite well. It's the one good thing that seems to be working in the UK. We've got up the rankings, the second or first highest amount in the world for reading, maths, and I think science. Are we okay to be cheerful about that? Is it okay to be happy about something despite all the stuff that we've just talked about for almost an hour?
Guess this is good. I don't know what that translates to in terms of job opportunities and stuff like that. It's like, they can do well in school. There's barely going to be anything for them. If they want to save for a pension, you put over 2K in there, it's going to get taxed soon in a couple of years. You make decent money, that's going to get taxed aggressively. So you can do as well as you want in school, I think, at this point. But regardless of what kind of job you get, unless you're paid out in dividends, it's going to be shit. Like the tax situation in this country is so shit.
Do you know where we land in the G7 for tax rates?
Go on.
7th. Do you know
7th.
where we land on the OECD average rating for tax? What as a percentage of your GDP per person, how much is taxed? Do you know what the average is as a percentage of? So how much you as an individual get taken out of your pay packet?
No idea.
The average is about 34%. We're at 33.2.
Other countries do also make. Other countries get paid more. Like Americans, like fair enough, they have to pay for healthcare, but they get paid a lot more. And I think for like other G7 members, I couldn't speak for Japan. I don't know if Japanese people get paid more, but I think other nations have much more higher median incomes and things like that.
You got 1.4 birth rate. It needs to be at 2.4, 2.7 if you want a capitalist system which has pensions. If you want that, then you need the birth rate. If you don't want to have that anymore, that's why the taxes aren't going so far, because you haven't got a replacing group coming through, and you've got an aging population. That's why we're probably heading towards more old people having nappies than babies. Japan just hit that. More old people have nappies than babies in Japan. That's fucking insane. As a stat. Sorry, Davey, you were going to say?
I just like part of it as well is what we invest into and don't. Like I spoke earlier on today about what Thatcher did to the country and selling off all of our public assets for a quick buck. It's I turned 38 like this weekend, and that happened in the era of my birth, and it's still affecting us negatively now. And it's not just that happened and it blew everything up and that was it. It's been this slow, like, ignorance of that for a very long time through successive governments. When it comes to in Japan, if you listen to Japanese people speak about their work culture, it's incredibly unhealthy. They're very reliant on family, which is good, but to the point where, if you disappoint your family, then it's like, and that's part of why their birth rate is so low. How do you have a baby when it's so difficult to actually take time off work? When it comes to the UK, like, I mean, I'm a homo. It's not like I can accidentally produce a kid, but I don't want to bring a kid into this world because it's melting and fascism's happening. Like, if you want people to start having kids at a normal rate, maybe deal with all of the horrors, and then people might want to have children. But what realistic attempts are there to deal with that we're seeing? It's like, shut the door, we're nationalists now, and that's not the way to handle this. The last thing we need is isolationism.
Oh, I totally agree. I think Neil Tyson deGrasse has an amazing analogy of that, where he's just like, we're literally, and he's not talking about the UK, he's talking about something else towards NASA and the use of NASA, but it so applies to the UK, where he's like, the elders in charge are basically saying, don't leave the cave, stay in the cave. We've got to fix the cave before we go out. And deGrasse is like, no. We need to go out of the cave and go over the valley, because you might get a solution to that problem by being on the other side of the woods or in the rivers or in the mountains. And the elders are just going, no. And also, no strangers. No strangers can come in our cave. If you were to hear that, you would go, you're nuts. But you do it with a nation, and in nationalism, then it's totally fine and normal. It makes zero sense.
Do you know what a guy compared immigration to me today? He said, take red squirrels for an example. I was like, go on. He was like, well, this used to be a nation of red squirrels, and then we introduced the invasive grey squirrel, and now, well, when's the last time you saw a red squirrel? And I was like, last time I was in Scotland, first of all, but also, and I hope that this helps you understand the nuance of debate and immigration. We're not fucking squirrels, you dickhead.
Yeah. I saw that where someone was like, if a Siberian tiger, no, a Bengal tiger was born in Siberia, it wouldn't become a Siberian tiger. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about, man?
That's the nuanced thing, isn't it? They think it's genetics. They think we're that different. And I'm just going,
pluck out my England gene.
Like it's a bit like the pyramids. Where were they built? Africa. Have we been? Are we in a position right now to, with all our modern technology, to be able to recreate that? Arguably not. Not even if you had the money of Elon Musk, I don't think you'd be able to recreate that because we don't have the tech. And yet they're then going around telling everyone, "Oh, you can't mix. Oh, they're inferior." And you're going, "What the fuck are you talking about?" Like, none of what they're saying is making sense. I've cited Degrassi. You could have Michael Jordan. You can have Pele, even though some of us don't agree with that. A Barack Obama, like, he's got his problems, he had his issues, but like, are you telling me that they're not on equal footing, or what the fuck are you saying? It makes there's zero intelligence behind what they're saying, and yet they're still it's as bad as I've been saying it for months now. You might as well be listening to someone trying to convince you that the earth is flat. That's the level of logic that they're putting in when they're saying shit like that. Like, and I'm not going to start believing that the fucking earth is flat anytime soon. I'm not going to listen to this bullshit.
My favourite argument that is made regularly as an outspoken queer person is like, oh, well, Muslim people don't like you. And I'm like, do you like me? Are you accepting of me? Because you guys are talking about removing queer people's rights and attacking trans people and blah, blah, blah. It's been such an exhausting conversation. The amount of times people are like, oh, well, if you support Gaza, why don't you go there? Because I might die, because I might get bombed, actually. It's probably why that won't happen. But then I'd love to spin it on them. Okay, so are you saying that homophobic people deserve to die? Because if you do, you don't like gay people. So should I start cooking the napalm now? It's such an exhausting conversation. When it comes to people like nationalists talking about fundamentalist religion, any fundamentalist religion, they're like, well, it's bad for you. And I'm like, you want to do the same thing, just with a different religious symbol. What you want about? It's such a weird conversation to have, because I'm like, you want the things that religious fundamentalists want. You do, just with a different fucking label.
Both world wars were created and started by Christians. The nuclear bombs that got dropped, the only time it's ever happened, were dropped by a bunch of Christians. And yet we're being told that other groups, we should be concerned about other groups. Racism, arguably, there's a lot of evidence to show this, really got exacerbated by the Spanish Inquisition.
And the Crusades.
I mean, this whole thing with the Middle East and the West, that is all around the Crusades and the Catholic Church. The whole thing, this has been going on since the last 1,000 years. And it's like one area gets economic growth and the other one gets economic collapse. And it's this toing and froing over the last couple of 1,000 years. And the wildest thing, and I keep bringing it up, if you look at what the Crusaders were doing, it pales in comparison to the fundamentalists that are coming out of the Middle East. It pales in comparison. They were absolutely bonkers. If they were going around doing that today, you would go, those are the craziest bastards on the planet. And yet it doesn't get, that's not how these cultural conflicts work. And that's the dividing line. It's been there and it's going back and forth now for a couple of 1,000 years. And no one wants to address it. I'm sorry to say, that's us out. Thanks, guys. Thanks, Davey. Come back soon.
Okay.
next week for another exciting story from the files of Police Squad.
Your Twilight Zone scenario. You have to pick a new monarch for the UK. Piers Morgan or Mike Graham?
Oh my God, you might as well ask me which foot I want to eat. Jesus Christ. Mike Graham, because he's stupid enough that you could convince him to do anything that you wanted. Please lend me £1 million so I can grow some concrete.
Madge, you're going to create a brand new holiday for the UK, and it's a full holiday. No one's to work.
Right.
Pay. But the name is either Farage Fest or Musk Giving.
Musk Giving, that's pretty good. Yeah, that one's good. Because people mispronounce it as must giving, as in you must give something, rather than must giving, so it makes sense. Farage Fest just sounds wrong.
Thanks, guys.
Well, I'll go one for you, Alex.
Oh.
So, pay is equal. You have to either have to replace Rachel Reeves as Chancellor or Ruben Amorim as Man United. You have to make a success of it, and you've only got a year. Which job do you think you'd rather have, and which job's more difficult? Because I'll tell you what, yeah, they're both fucked. I saw the game on the weekend. It was far hard. I used a 10-man Everton.
Do I get a bit of funding at Man U?
No, because the fiscal rules.
So I get zero funding.
Yeah, because you're constrained by you're constrained by Rachel Reeves' fiscal rules. So any players you get in, you have to make 3 sales. Because the fiscal rules.
Loans. I can have players in.
Yeah, loans within reason. You can't be like, I'm gonna loan Yamin Lamau or something like that.
Yeah. I've got to find some youth talent that wants to go.
Or you could be Rachel Reeves and you got to act within the constraints of the fiscal rules.
I'd be tempted with the physical rules because I'd just be like, I've been really thinking about this. I'm just being like, you decriminalize and legalize a load of drugs.
Can't do that. It's not manifesto.
Oh, you're such a bastard.
You got to act as the Chancellor. You can't be acting as the Prime Minister. Okay, so I was going, well, I don't think we can do that. I was in charge of a DPP and my dad was a toolmaker and my mum was a nurse.
I've got to be honest, the Man U job would be easier. I know exactly what.
That's how bad it is.
I just loan in a load of like decent youth talent across Europe.
When you pray.
Or and Brazil. And then, but the Rachel Reeves with those handcuffs on. I mean, that's wow. I shouldn't have said that.
Yeah, you should
That's
have
an
said
image I
that.
did not need. Yeah. Oh no.
It could have been worse. You could have said stop and put the handcuffs on her. That would have been worse. Can we edit that out, please? Can we edit that out?
Rachel, I brought you some beautiful bracelets, Rachel.
Okay, we'll keep that. Can we keep that? They're called the fiscal bracelets.
It sounds like you've been a very, very bad girl.
You've not followed the rules.
Bye. No.
We're cancelled. We're actually done. You've actually cooked us here.